Allow me to hand over for this live broadcast that will be um, overseen by the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Kingi. Good afternoon.
Ombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, tutakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tunakuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do you have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
The sittings of the Senate this afternoon currently being presided over by the Senate Speaker, Honorable Amason Kingi. I've given a leeway of about 10 minutes to allow senators to make their way into the chamber this afternoon to see to it that the House is properly curated to commence business this afternoon. We will be needing about 15 senators in the chamber this afternoon for the House to commence business. And as we await to see whether that directive will be attained and the other directives that probably will be coming after the lapse of 10 minutes in the event that that quorum will not be attained. Standing orders number 53, subsection 1, the Senator for Bungoma County, Senator David Wakoli, is set to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters Trade, Industrialization and Tourism regarding the management of Kitinda Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society in Bungoma County. Nominated Senator Hamida Kibwana will equally pursuant to Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1, be seeking a statement from the Standing Committee on Matters National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations regarding the rise of entertainment joints and nightclubs in residential areas within Nairobi County. Hezana Lemaletian, who is yet another nominated senator, her statement pursuant to Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1, will be going to the Standing Committee on Matters Road, Transportation and Housing in regards to the dilapidated state of roads and budget distribution towards road projects in Samburu County. She equally has another statement that will be sought this afternoon, and the other statement will be handled by the Committee on Matters Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding mining activities in Samburu County. And finally, Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1, nominated Senator Beth Siengo is also set to seek a statement from the Committee of Matters Education concerning the registration and licensing of early childhood development and education, popularly known as ECDE centers across the country. The chairperson, Standing Committee on Matters Justice and Legal Affairs and Human Rights, is a person to Standing Orders number 56, subsection 1A, set to make a statement on the amendments proposed to the Houses of Parliament. This is in regards to the Bicameral Relations Bill, National Assembly Bills number 44 of the year 2023. And upon the statements being sought under Standing Orders number 53, subsection 1, the Standing Orders allows the chairpersons of various standing committees of the House to answer to the House through Standing Orders number 56, subsection 1A, and given priority this afternoon is the chairperson Standing Committee on Matters Roads, Transportation and Housing, Honorable Karungo Wathangwa, who is set to make a statement relating to the activities of his committee from the period between April and August 2024. The other chairperson, who is set to make a statement in regards to the activities of their committee, is the chairperson on matters land, and the other chair is the chair who chairs the county public investment and special funds. These statements are for the period between April and August 2024. Standing Orders number 57, subsection 1, empowers the Senate Leader of the Majority Party to issue statements in regards to the business of the Senate. And this statement by the Senate Leader of the Majority Party is in regards to the business of the Senate commencing Tuesday, October 8th, the year being 2024, technically this year. During the Senate plenary, we usually have the tabling of papers and reports, and the Senate Leader of the Majority Party will be tabling two reports. One of the report is the report of the National Treasury and Economic Planning on all new loans contracted by Government of Kenya from the 1st May 2024 to the 30th of August 2024. The second report pertains the annual performance report by the National Treasury and Economic Planning for micro, small, and medium enterprises, popularly known as MSMEs, a credit guarantee scheme for the financial year 2023-2024. The chairperson standing committee on matters national cohesion, equal opportunity, and regional integration, who happens to also serve as the senator for Marsabit County, will be tabling the report of the standing committee on matters cohesion, equal opportunity, and regional integration regarding the inquiry by the committee into the diversity and inclusion of staff composition of state agencies in Kenya. This afternoon, lined up for consideration, is the Senate sittings that are set to be held in Busia County at the end of the month of October. There are a number of resolutions in regards to the Senate machinery for this year, and we'll be looking forward to see how the House will be considering that motion. Allow me to hand over back to the chamber so we can follow up on the proceedings streaming from the Senate of Kenya this afternoon.
We do have quorum now, so I will allow the clerk to call the first order. Clerk, proceed, please.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Order Senator Miraj and Senator Chimera. If you want to hug, you can go hug outside the chamber, not in the chamber. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, 3rd October 2024. a report of the Treasury and of the National Treasury and economic planning on all new loans contracted by the government of Kenya from 1st May 2024 to 31st August 2024. 2 annual performance reports by the National Treasury and the economic planning for the micro, small, and medium enterprises credit guarantee scheme for financial year 2023-2024.
The Chairperson Standing Committee on National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 3rd October 2024, being the report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunity, and Regional Integration on an inquiry into the diversity and inclusivity in the staff composition of state agencies in Kenya.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Senate Majority Leader. That motion will be deferred till next week. Under instructions from the Majority Leader. That order will be deferred till next week. The Chairperson Standing Committee on National Cohesion. Or any member of that committee. I thought Senator Chimera just laid a paper on behalf of the chair. Yes, Senator Joyce, you may proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to give a notice of the following motion that the Senate adopts progress report of the Standing Committee on National Cohesion, Equal Opportunities, and Regional Integration into an inquiry on the diversity and inclusivity in the staff composition of the agencies in Kenya, laid on the table of the Senate Thursday, 3rd October 2024.
The Chairperson, Standing Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds. Senator Tabitha, what is that for?
Honorable Speaker, I wish to give notice that the Senate adopts the reports of the Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds on its consideration of the audit reports for the financial years 2018-2019, which is in volume number 6, 2019-2020, which is in volume number 7, and 2020-2021, which is in volume number 9, for Eldama Ravine, Eldoret, Embu, Kidhunguri, Homa Bay, Kahuti, Kakamega, Kapenguria, Kapsabet, Nandi, Karuri, Kericho, Kiambu, Kibwezi, Makindu, Kikuyu, Kitui, Lamu, Limuru, Madhira, Matungulu, Kangundo, Boni, Meru, municipal councils of Machakos, Muranga, Muranga South, Naivasha, Nakuru Rural, Nakuru, Nakuru City, Narok, Ol Kalau, Ol Kajiado, Odhaya, Mukurweni, Ruiru, Juja, Sibo, Tavevo, Tetu, Abadea, and Water Sanitation and Sewerage Services Company laid on the table of the Senate on the Wednesday, 2nd October 2024. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now, before I allow the clerk to call the next order, I have the following committee. Honorable Senators, as you may have noticed, take your seat, Senator Hazana. The Senate Majority Leader laid on the table of the Senate this afternoon the following reports. Report by the National Treasury and Economic Planning on all new loans contracted by the Government of Kenya from the 1st of May 2024 to 31st of August 2024. And two, a report on the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Credit Guarantee Scheme performance for the period between 1st of July 2023 to 30th of June 2024. The report on all new loans contracted by the Government of Kenya from 1st of May 2024 to 31st of August 2024 contains details on all new loans signed between the national government and various creditors for the stated period. Section 31(1) of the Public Finance Management Act states as follows. The Cabinet Secretary shall submit to Parliament every 4 months a report of all loans made to the national government entities, and county governments in accordance with Article 211(2) of the Constitution. Pursuant to Section 31(3) of the Public Finance Management Act, the report submitted to Parliament contains the following: the names of the parties to the loan, the amount of the loan, and the currency in which it is expressed and in which it is repayable, the terms and conditions of the loan, including interest and other charges payable, and the terms of repayment, the amount of the loan advanced at the time the report is submitted, and the purpose for which the loan was used, and the perceived benefits of the loan, and such other information as the Cabinet Secretary may consider appropriate. Now, honorable senators, on the other hand, the report on the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Credit Guarantee Scheme performance for the period between 1st of July 2023 to the 30th of June 2024 contains credit guarantees issued to MSMEs for the stated period. Section 59A of the Public Finance Management Act states as follows. The Cabinet Secretary shall prepare a statement of the credit guarantees granted under Section 58(5) and a summary therein in such detail as the Cabinet Secretary may determine. Two, the Cabinet Secretary shall, at least once in every year, submit to Parliament the summary prepared under Section 1, together with a report of the following: the total value of credit guarantees given during that period. B, the total value of credit guarantees liquidated during that period. C, the total value of outstanding credit guarantees on the date of the report. D, the risk assessment of the credit guarantees or classes of guarantees. And E, information on the total value of credit guarantees disaggregated into the number of enterprises owned by women, youth, and persons with disabilities which have been guaranteed. And F, information on the total value of credit guarantees disaggregated into the number of micro, small, and medium enterprises guaranteed by the respective regions. and G, any other relevant information prescribed by regulations for the purpose of this section. Now, honorable senators, given the significance of the national date in our public finance management framework, and further cognizant of the motion passed by the Senate on the 24th of July 2024 on the state of the nation, calling on the government to take action to reduce the national debt, including undertaking an independent audit of the same by the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, I hereby commit the report by the National Treasury and Economic Planning on the new loans contracted by the Government of Kenya from 1st of May 2024 to the 31st of August 2024, and the report on the micro, small, and medium enterprise credit guarantee scheme performance for the period between 1st of July 2023 to 30th of June 2024 to the said committee for consideration. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Statement pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. The Honorable David Wakoli. That statement is dropped. Senator Hezena Lemantian.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I have two statements. I beg to read them together. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources regarding mining activities in Samburu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, inquire on the ongoing mining activities in Samburu County, specifically determining whether adequate public participation was conducted prior to the commencement of these activities. Secondly, provide details of all local and foreign entities engaged in the mining operations and confirm whether they are licensed and compliant with the mining strategic mineral, specifically regulations of 2017. And third, assess the benefits accruing to the local community from these mining activities and establish whether individuals whose land is being utilized for the mining purposes have been compensated. Senator Ezena Lemalitian, date 26th September 2024. I have a second statement.
Proceed, Senator, with a second statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to the Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing regarding the dilapidated state of roads and distribution of budget allocation towards road projects in Samburu County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, provide a comprehensive report on the status of all roads within Samburu County under the jurisdiction of the county government, stating the challenges that have contributed to the dilapidated state of certain roads and enumerate areas most affected. Secondly, disclose the total budgetary allocation in the financial year 2023-2024 and financial year 2024-2025 for road construction, repair, maintenance by the county government of Samburu, disclosing how the budget has been distributed among various road projects with details of the specific allocations for different road segments, specifying how much has been utilized so far on new road construction projects and for maintenance of existing ones, along with expected timelines for completion of such projects. Thirdly, outline any plans by the county government to carry out maintenance on the deteriorating roads with specific focus on inspection frequency and criteria for prioritizing repairs, including the expected timelines for the repair and rehabilitation of dilapidated roads. And last but not least, state measures put in place to ensure transparency, accountability in the use of funds earmarked for road projects in Samburu County, explaining how the county government verifies progress and adherence to project timelines. Senator Ezena Lemalitian, 1st of October. Thank you.
Senator Beth Siango.
Mr. Speaker, I request to read on her behalf as per her request. May I proceed?
Proceed, Honorable Senator.
Thank you so much. On the registration and licensing of early childhood development education, ECDE centers. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the registration, licensing, governance, and management of early childhood development and education centers across the country. Mr. Speaker, while county governments are responsible for primary education, the registration, license, and management of ECDC centers remain under the national government. Though these functions should be devolved as provided for under Part 2 of the 4th schedule of the Constitution. In the statement, the committee should, 1, examine the legality of certain centers of the Basic Education Act 2013, such as Section 17, which establishes county education boards as national government agencies. 2, explain the reasons for the delay in developing the registration, licensing, governance, and management of ECD centers to county governments. And lastly, outline any measures the national government is taking in collaboration with the county governments to ensure the full devolution of these functions in line with the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Senator Beth Siango. Thank you.
Senator Hamida Kibwana. Senator Chimera, you may proceed to read Senator Wakoli's request for a statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the Honorable Senator David Wakoli, Senator for Bungoma County, I wish to request for a statement on the management of Kitinda Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 531 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Trade, Industrialization and Tourism regarding the management of Kitinda Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society in Bungoma County. In the statement, the committee should, number 1, explain the governance structure of the Kitinda Dairy Farmers Cooperative Society, disclosing the names of the members of the management and supervisory committees, the respective number of shares held by these members, as well as the duration for which they have held the shares. Number 2, provide a list of all members of the cooperative society, indicating the number of shares held by each member and when they were last paid dividends. Number 3, table the minutes of the most recent special or annual general meeting of the cooperative society, as well as the financial statements of the society for the last 2 years, specifying the respective incomes and expenditures. Number 4, outline the reforms undertaken by the current management committee since assuming control of the cooperative society, indicating the current vis-a-vis previous milk intake and debt portfolio. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, explain why the current managing director was appointed to the position despite having been previously dismissed from the society on fraud allegations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Tabitha Mutinda, you may proceed to read the statement by Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Senator Hamida Kibwana, I would like to read her statement on the rise of entertainment joints and nightclubs in residential areas within Nairobi City County. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee of National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations regarding the increasing number of entertainment joints and nightclubs operating within residential areas in Nairobi County. In the statement, the committee should, 1, determine whether the rise of this establishment is due to a licensing or regulatory gap, and whether the relevant authorities are enforcing zoning laws effectively. Secondly, provide details on the licensing process for nightclubs and entertainment joints in residential areas, and whether specific guidelines exist to protect residential zones from such commercial activities. Three, investigate the impact of these establishments on children and teenagers, particularly in terms of exposure to noise, inappropriate behavior, and social vices like drugs and substance abuse. Four, recommend measures to mitigate the negative effects of these establishments with a focus of protection of minors and maintainers of peace and safety in communities. And lastly, Mr. Speaker, establish the role of county and national government authorities in regulating such establishment and identify policy gaps that need addressing to enhance enforcement of laws and protection of residential areas. This is on behalf of Senator Hamida Kibwana.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Education regarding the placement of students in public and private universities. In the statement, the committee should, one, provide a status report on the number of students allocated to each public and private university in the last 3 intakes and the criteria used for such allocation, outlining the declared capacity of each university versus the actual student enrollment. Two, state the criteria used to determine the cutoff points for each course and explain the variance of cutoff points for similar courses across different universities. Three, disclose the budgeted and actual capitation dispersed to each university, along with total funding to public universities over the last 3 years. Four, report on the number of teaching staff in all public universities and confirm compliance.
Order, honorable senators.
Four,
Majority leader should take a lead in.
Four, report on the number of teaching staff in all public universities and confirm compliance with the approved lecturer to student ratio. Five, provide details of the number of students placed in private universities during the most recent intake, as well as policy documents, regulations, and approvals explaining the capacity and financial challenges faced by public universities as a result of this. Six, explain whether public participation was conducted before the decision by the government to place students in private universities. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
What is the issue, majority leader?
I want to bring it to your attention that
Senator Eddy, Senator Funandi, Senator Wakili Sigei. As you take your seat, kindly read Standing Order 118. I'll come back to you later. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to make a humble request to you to maybe you indulge us as a house, given that we have very important legislative business that we want to transact this afternoon at this Division of Revenue, that given that we have the requisite quorum in the House at this time, if you may permit, Speaker, in accordance with Standing Order number 1, that we do conduct that particular exercise, then we can revert back to statements immediately we are done. This is important, Mr. Speaker, given that counties continue to await the decision of Senate on this matter before, and there's still a long way out, especially given how the vote may turn out in the Senate, that may necessitate many other processes. So I want to humbly plead that if we may do that right now.
Very well. Pursuant to Standing Order 45-2, for the convenience of the House, I will move to rearrange the sequence of today's order paper so that we prosecute order number 10 and thereafter resume the normal flow as contained in today's order paper. Clerk, proceed.
Order number 10, Division of Revenue, Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024. Second reading, division.
Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the division bell for 5 minutes.
Well, the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Kingi, has just directed that the quorum bell be rung for 5 minutes. This followed the request by the Senate leader of the majority party, who had asked the Speaker that a vote that had been postponed to today to be done this afternoon. This vote is in regards to the consideration on the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill for the year 2024. Let's now have a look at this Division of Revenue Bill. This being a bill that has also been done by the National Assembly. The Division of Revenue Bill seeks to provide for equitable sharing of the revised revenue raised nationally by the national government, and this is among the national government and the county governments. So technically, this is a bill that guides the disbursement of monies to counties. The Division of Revenue Act provides for the total shareable revenue, which is 2.9 trillion shillings out of the 2.5 trillion shillings that was allocated to the national government, and Kenya shillings 400 billion that was allocated to the county governments. Following the rejection of the Finance Bill 2024, the revenue that the government had initially projected to collect has reduced, and this figure has been revised downwards, leading to a reduction of 346 billion shillings. And equally, to address the shortfall of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill number 2024, the bill proposes to reduce the amount allocated to the county governments to 380 billion shillings, this representing 5.8% of the total revenue shortfall, which is 20.12 billion shillings. Allow me to hand over back to the chamber.
Now, honorable senators, we are going into division of order number 10. Kindly pull out your card from the delegate unit, and the sergeant at arms walk around and pick any card that is unattended. Senator Karen Nyamu, take your seat. Sergeant at Arms, are we good to go? Thank you. Now, honorable senators, I'll proceed to put the question. You may now log back as I proceed to put the question that the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, be now read a second time. You may proceed to vote. Honorable Senator Cheptumo, kindly proceed to the dispatch and cast your vote. Other honorable senators, Senator Mundigi and Senator Osotsi. As a deputy party leader, you should show us a better way of doing this. Now, the result of the division is as follows: ayes 28, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Division of Revenue Act.
Sergeant at arms, you may now withdraw the bar and open the doors. Now, honorable senators, before I allow the clerk to call the next order, I have the following communication to make. As you may recall, at the sitting of the Senate held on Wednesday, 2nd of October 2024, the Senate Majority Leader rose on a point of order seeking the guidance of the Speaker on how senators should conduct themselves pending the determination of a motion in the National Assembly, which may find its way to the Senate. Two more senators, namely Senator Samson Cherangay, MP, and Senator Eno Kwambua, MP, rose in support of the point of order. In the point of order, the Senate Majority Leader expressed concern that some senators may have made utterances at various fora on this particular matter, and further that some senators may also have proceeded to express their view on the matter one way or the other. It is in the public domain that a motion has been filed in the National Assembly on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, PGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. In accordance with Article 145 and 150 of the Constitution, this is a matter that may be referred to the Senate for consideration and determination. However, as this matter is currently before the National Assembly, Standing Order 1015 provides as follows: it shall be out of order for a senator to criticize or call to question the proceedings in the National Assembly. As such, therefore, I caution all honorable senators to desist on commenting on the proceedings in the National Assembly on this particular matter. With respect to general comments of honorable senators on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President, I refer honorable senators to the requirements of Article 145(2), which requires the Speaker of the National Assembly to notify the Speaker of the Senate if a motion to remove from office by impeachment of the Deputy President is supported by at least 2/3 of all members of the National Assembly. Action then will be required of the Senate on the resolution pursuant to Article 145(3) of the Constitution. The Senate, being the trial chamber on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Deputy President, will be sitting as a quasi-judicial body to hear and determine the matter. Comments made, whether written or spoken, may prejudice the just outcome of the process, not only in the Senate, but also in the National Assembly, as this is a function undertaken by both houses of parliament. Now, honorable senators, earlier today, I received documents from the County Assembly of Kericho on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Eric Kipkoech Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County. At an appropriate time, I will communicate the message received from the Kericho County Assembly on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Governor of Kericho County. On the impeachment procedure of a county governor, this will be the 6th hearing that the Senate will undertake in the 13th Parliament. I expect that honorable senators are familiar with the rules of procedure pursuant to Section 33 of the County Governments Act and Standing Order 80 of the Senate. Like the hearing and determination of proposed removal of the Deputy President, the trial chamber for such removal of a governor is the Senate. Similarly, comments made on the matter, whether written or spoken, in relation to the proposed removal from office of the governor of Kericho County may prejudice the just outcome of the process and the fair determination of the hearing. Honorable senators, I urge you to remain cognizant that comments on the impeachment process by honorable senators may be relied on by other parties here in the Senate and in courts of law, as was the case in the High Court Petition number E425 of 2020, Mike Sonkumbuvi Gideon Kyoko versus the Office of the Attorney General and the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission and 6 others. In this instance, the petitioner sought to argue that remarks made by an honorable member of the Senate had eroded the capacity of the Senate as an adjudicating body in terms of Article 47 of the Constitution. I cannot therefore emphasize enough that comments by senators on matters that may come before the Senate or are already before the Senate will certainly attract some measure of scrutiny, some of which may be construed to mean that an outcome, one way or the other, has already been determined. As such, therefore, during the pendency of these impeachment processes in Parliament, and more particularly in the Senate, I wish to caution honorable senators to desist from publicly commenting on the merits or demerits of the matters. Doing so would amount to anticipation of debate, which is itself is an infringement of Standing Order 99 of the Senate. It will also amount to a gross disorderly conduct within the meaning of Standing Order 122.1 of the Senate Standing Orders. Kindly be guided accordingly. Thank you. The next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole. The Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024. Senator Sigei.
Honorable members, let us resume our seats. Order, honorable members. We are now on the Committee of the Whole. Senator Omogeni. Order, Senator Mundigi. Resume your seat, please. Honorable members, we are in the Committee of the Whole on the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024. Let's call out, clerk call the relevant clauses.
Clause 2.
Clause 2, honorable members, I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. I call upon the chairperson standing committee on finance and budget to read the amendments or the proposed amendments. Chairman Sindaroba. The vice chairperson proceed to read the proposed amendments.
Chair, I do beg to move that the clause 2 amendments be adopted as proposed.
Now, honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed, and I put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed. Division shall be at the end.
Clause 3.
Senator Tabitha, proceed to the dispatch. Let's proceed to clause 3. Senator Tabitha.
Chair, I do beg to move that clause 3 be amended as it appears in the order paper. Oh, I read the clause 3.
Senator Tabitha, clause
Yes.
3 is actually for deletion.
Yes.
Kindly properly go through.
Mr. Chair, I do beg that the clause 3 be amended by deleting as proposed in the order paper. Deleting.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 3 be deleted, and I put the question that clause 3 be deleted. Division at the end. Clause 4.
Clause 4.
Senator Osotsi, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, this is a very important piece of legislation. How I would wish that the mover also explains the import of the amendments. Because, for example, Mr. Speaker, the first amendment, where they are talking about to provide for a downward revision of the projected ordinary revenue. Can we just be explained to so that we understand what is the import of this?
Very well, Senator Osotsi.
I know the importance of passing this bill, but I think I have been this process before, and I think the mover has a responsibility to explain the justification of the amendment.
Senator Osotsi, very well, that's taken, point taken. From the next clause 4 going forward, the mover may need to explain the import of some of those proposed amendments. However, for purposes of the House, Senator Osotsi, remember we have debated this, and I recall that you did indeed debate and raise the concerns that you had leading to the proposed amendments. Senator Roba, proceed to deal with clause 4. I propose the question that clause 4 be part of the bill.
Okay. I beg to move that clause 4 be amended as proposed in the order paper, that the bill be amended by deleting the proposed new schedule and substitute thereof with the following schedule as published in the order paper.
Honorable members,
Okay.
Senator Kio, allow the chairperson to run us through the proposed amendments. Chairman, proceed. I have given directions that you allow the chairperson. I'm ruling you out of order. Proceed, Senator Robert.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Senator Robert, proceed. Senator Kio, allow Senator Robert to proceed.
What is the difficulty in explaining what's the problem?
I will explain.
Senator Kio, Wambua. Senator Wambua. Senator Wambua. Senator Wambua, take your seat. Take your seat. Senator Roba.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you protect me so I can
proceed? Majority Leader,
okay,
Senator Wambua. Senator Wambua. Senator Wambua, please allow Senator Robert to be heard in silence. Senator Sifuna, allow the chairperson to explain. Allow the chairperson to continue. Allow. Senator Robert, proceed. Senator Robert, please proceed.
No, I'm proceeding. Okay. Just for explanation,
Senator Eddie, Senator Wambua,
No,
Senator Roba.
in this environment.
Senator
Okay.
Roba, proceed.
Klaus, when the National Assembly amended the DORA, what they have introduced is a clause that has not been in practice for the last 10 years that we have passed DORA before that, which is that of that wherever there is projection of any shortfall, that shortfall, it will necessitate amendment where the county government and national government will share proportionately that. Now we have deleted that provision because it's not tenable, and that is what is being deleted. Okay. Now, now, now for clause 4, the schedule is presented. It only covers a reduction on shareable revenue because the situation discussed by the memorandum sent necessitated reduction of shareable revenue. So it proposes reduction of shareable revenue from almost 3 trillion to 2.631 for overall shareable revenue, and then proposes further reduction for national government to 2.223 trillion, while maintaining the county government share of revenue at 400.116 as passed in the previous DORA enacted.
That's okay.
Okay.
Well done.
Thank you.
I now propose that clause 4 be amended as proposed, and I put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Division at the end. Senator Cherige, let's allow this process to progress. And honorable members, the most unfortunate thing is that you have had all these documents for the last couple of weeks. You don't read, hence the explanation. Let us proceed. Senator Roba, the title and clause 1.
The title and clause 1.
I propose the question that the title and clause 1 be part of the bill, and I put the question that the title and clause 1 be part of the bill. Division at the end. Honorable members, we are now reporting on the bill, and I wish to call upon the mover, the majority leader, to move.
Mr. Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate in its consideration of the division of revenue, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
I now put the question that the committee do report to the Senate in consideration of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable Senators, Mr. Speaker.
On the senators, have your seats. Honorable senators, I highly challenge the exchange between the two sides. So let us have some order.
So Chairperson, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Thank you, Mover.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. I beg to request Senator Eddie Okech to second.
Senator Andy Okech. Give Senator Eddie the mic.
Oh, Mr. Speaker, I second.
Sorry, our officer here, Ms. Gaiden, the chair. So I think what you have done is not right. So we will first go to the division. We resume committee of the whole? Yes. Sergeant Adams, we are going back to the committee of the whole.
Honorable members, let's resume our seats. Sergeant at Arms, could you please ring the quorum bell for 5 minutes?
A 5 minutes division bell, as guided by the chair of the committee of the whole, Honorable Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei. And this 5 minutes has been a directive to ensure that senators who had stepped outside the chambers are back in the chamber this afternoon to allow the House complete the consideration of various clauses and provisions under the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill of 2024. The objective and the purpose of this act is to amend the Division Act of 2024 to provide for equitable sharing of the shortfall in revenue raised nationally, and has been occasioned by the downfall and the downward revision of the projected ordinary revenue among the national government and the county governments.
Members, we had dealt with, the last one was the title and clauses. We were done with clauses, and we are now on divisions. And honorable members, clause for deletion, I would like to put the question that clause 3 be deleted. Clauses with amendments, I put the question that the first one is clauses for deletion. I put the question that clause 3 be deleted. Honorable members, the question is clause 3 that is supposed to be deleted, and as many as of that opinion, well, honorable members, we are now running to vote on clause 3 that is for deletion, and we are voting electronically. We are starting with the deletions first, honorable members. Then we will go to clauses for amendment. So the first one we are dealing with is clause 3, which is for deletion. Yes, please. Honorable members, log in. Honorable members, log out, then log in. And I ask the Sergeant at Arms to pull out unattended cards from the delegates' point. Members, you may log in and vote. Start voting now. I can't vote. So they are concerned actually. I'm not this because of this clause, the clause. Senator Jumaboy and Senator Samson Cherargei. We will proceed to the next vote, then we will announce the results of division later. We dealing with clauses with amendments. Honorable Senators, I now put the question that clauses 2 and 4, clauses 2 and 4 be amended as proposed. Log out from your delegates and log in and proceed to vote. This is clauses 2 and 4. You can start voting now. Members, you proceed to vote. Time for voting is running out. Senator Mogeni, Senator Karungu Dangwa, ngoja kidogo wachore ile. Who's not voted? Omogeni? Yeah. Kamau Joseph? Yes, sir. Senator Kamau, you are there as well. You need to vote. Senator Kamau, Tangwa. They are all here. Senator Juma Boy, Isa.
And Deputy Speaker, who was away from his seat.
Yeah. You vote from there. Senator Kamau. So the five of you, Senator Thangwa, Omogeni, Madzayo, Kamau, and Isa Juma Boy. Thank you, leader. Yes. Uh, Honorable members, we are done with clauses with amendments. That was clause 2 and 4. We are now on all clauses. And I put the question that clause 2 as amended, clause 4 as amended, the title and clause 1 be part of the bill. You may now proceed to vote. Senator Thangwa. Senator Mbugwa, approach the desk. Senator Karen Nyamu, you're in the chamber. Resume your seat and recall the directions given previously by the Speaker on the conduct of members while in the chamber with regards to their phones. Honorable members, these are the results of division on clause 3. The ayes 29, nays 0, abstention 0. The ayes have it. On clauses 2 and 4, this is the second division. Ayes 28, nays 0, abstentions 0. The ayes have it. And lastly, the results of the third division, that is on all clauses. Ayes 28, nays 0, and abstentions 0. The ayes have it. The majority leader, please proceed to move.
Sini, I have it. Oh. I beg, Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Honorable members, I now put the question that the committee do report to the Senate its consideration of the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments. And now, as many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Honorable Senators, Mr. Speaker.
So, Senators, kindly, honor members, don't leave the chamber. We have another division, the last one. Chairperson of the Committee of the Whole.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole has considered the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, and its approval thereof with amendments.
Mover. Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. I request Senator Eddie Okech to second.
Senator Eddie Okech.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the House do agree with the committee in the same report. I put the question that the House do agree with the committee in the same report. As many as of the similar opinion say aye. Aye. As those of the contrary opinion say nay. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024, be now read a third time. I request the Senator for Nairobi, Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Before you second, there is a senator with a phone, with a speaker. Who is that senator? Sanjay Tatams, can you freeze that senator? And you take away the phone? Or you switch it, or you switch it off? You out of order, Senator Mwenda Gatai.
You're watching funny movies in the afternoon.
So proceed and request you are the second of the.
Mr. Speaker, you know the people of
the motion.
Tharaka previously had sent a very serious senator. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2024, be now read a third time. I request the Senator of Nairobi, Senator Edwin Sifuna, to second.
Senator Edwin Sifuna.
Honorable Chair, I second.
On the question that I put, I remember I seen the Highs have it. If I didn't, then I confirm that the Highs have it. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, be now read at one time. Okay. I put the question that the Division of Revenue Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 38 of 2024, be now read at one time. We are now and we are voting electronically. Now, proceed and vote. All the senators, Senator Medu, Senator Kale Nyamu, Honorable Senators, this is the results of the division. Ayes 29, nays 0, abstention 0. So the ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Division of Revenue Act.
So senators, we have two. So honorable senators, Sergeant Adams, you can withdraw the bar and open the doors. But before any movement, either in or out of the chamber, let us have order number 8 and 9. Order, next order. There is a voice vote, yes.
Order number 8, motion. Report of the 66th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference held in Accra, Ghana from 30th September to 6th October 2023.
Order, senators, Senator Chimera, Senator Medu. Honorable Senators, I put the question that the Senate notes the report of the 66th Commonwealth Parliamentary Conference held in Accra, Ghana from 30th September to 6th October 2023, and on the table of the Senate on 15th February 2024. I confirm we have quorum, so I go ahead and put the question that will as many as are that opinion say aye. Will as many as those of our contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. Report of the joint sittings of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning of the National Assembly and the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget of the Senate on approval hearing of Mr. David Kibet Kemei, nominee for appointment to the position of Director General of the Competition Authority.
All the senators. All the senators. I again confirm that we have quorum, so I proceed to put the question that the Senate adopts the report of the joint sittings of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning of the National Assembly and the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget of the Senate on the approval hearing of Mr. David Kibet Kemei, nominee for appointment as the Director General of the Competition Authority, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 26 September 2024, and that pursuant to Section 12(1) of the Competition Act and the Sections 3 and 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, the Senate approves the nomination of Mr. David Kibet Kemei for appointment as the Director General of the Competition Authority. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of that of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. So, yeah, honorable senators, we are going back to the statements and standing order 56(1)A. And I request the chairperson, Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights.
Mr. Speaker, I thank you for giving me the opportunity to read this statement from the Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs and Human Rights on the amendments proposed by the committee to the House of Parliament Bicameral Relations Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 44 of
Honorable
2023.
Senator Mudigi, consulting law to kindly and standing on 118 has given clear directions on how to behave in the chamber.
Thank you for that protection, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1 of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement relating to a matter for which the committee is responsible, namely the proposed amendments to the Houses of Parliament Bicameral Relations Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 44 of 2023. Honorable Speaker, the Houses of Parliament Bicameral Relations Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 44 of 2023 seeks to provide for how a joint resolution of a question relating to the nature of a bill under Article 110, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution is to be made. The bill also deals with matters relating to co-sponsoring of bills and conduct of joint proceedings, including joint sittings of the Houses, joint committees, and mediation committees. Mr. Speaker, the bill was published on 28th of July 2023 and introduced in the National Assembly on the 17th of August 2023. It was considered by the National Assembly and passed with amendments on the 21st of March 2024, following which it was referred to the Senate for its consideration. Honorable Speaker, could you kindly protect
Yeah, I
me
can see you are struggling to
from
read your
Senator
statement.
Medu?
Senator Medu, Senator Wakoli. And this afternoon, Senator Medu, you have caused a lot of confusion and problems in this chamber. I don't know. So allow the chair.
This is a very important statement,
Justice,
Mr.
and
Speaker,
listen to what he is reading.
because the bill in question, and the reason why we are reading this bill is to acquaint the members on the proposed amendments leading to the amendments to protect the mandate of this House from the law that was being pushed and that had been passed by the
See,
National Assembly.
Now you have enough protection.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, in the Senate, the bill was read a first time on 28th of March 2024, and it stood committed to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs, and Human Rights. Honorable Speaker, the committee proceeded to consider the bill extensively, whereupon it made several observations. Among these include the bill, if passed, as it was passed from the National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, would fundamentally restrict the legislative and representative mandate of the Senate as provided under Article 96, 94, 109, 110, 112, and 114 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the bill violates the Constitution by derogating from provisions of the Constitution and judicial pronouncements on the procedure for introduction and processing of legislation in the two houses of Parliament. Thirdly, Mr. Speaker, the bill violates Article 118 of the Constitution by proposing that a committee of the second House of Parliament can elect not to conduct public participation on account of public participation having been conducted by a committee of the other House of Parliament. And D, Mr. Speaker, the bill further contains provisions that would restrict access to judicial intervention as well as punish state officers and public officers, including members of this Honorable House, by introducing fetters and punitive measures to officers who would be deemed to have advised a House to pursue judicial intervention in a matter, and this is contrary to Article 236 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, consequently, by way of a report tabled in the Senate on Tuesday, 14th of May, 2024, the committee recommended that the Senate rejects the bill at the second reading stage to pave way for mediation on the bill as contemplated under Article 113 of the Constitution. This, Mr. Speaker, would allow the two houses a time-bound window within which to agree on a version of the bill that may be passed by both houses of Parliament, arising by both houses of Parliament. Arising from this, Mr. Speaker, the committee did not propose any amendments to the bill at that particular stage. Now, Honorable Speaker, the Senate debated the Houses of Parliament bicameral Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 44 of 2023, at second reading stage on various dates in the month of May, following which it voted on 30th July 2024 to have the bill read a second time. The import of this, Mr. Speaker, is that the bill will proceed to committee of the whole stage where it will be considered clause by clause and where amendments to the bill may be introduced and considered before the bill proceeds for its third reading. Noting this, Mr. Speaker, the committee resolved to revisit the bill with a view to proposing amendments to the bill for consideration by the House at committee of the whole House stage. In doing so, the committee reviewed previous bills on the procedure for processing legislation between the two houses of parliament as passed by the Senate and referred to the National Assembly, as well as judicial pronouncements on the concurrence process on a bill as provided under Article 110, sub-Article 3 of the Constitution of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I am happy to report that the committee has now tabled proposed amendments to the bill for consideration by the Senate at committee of the whole House stage. And I take this opportunity to commend the members of the committee for their devotion and commitment to duty, which made the reconsideration of the bill success. I also wish to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Clerk of the Senate for the support extended to the committee in undertaking this very important assignment. Honorable Speaker, it is now my pleasure, duty pursuant to Order 148, one of the Senate Standing Orders, to present proposed committee stage amendments on the Houses of Parliament Bicameral Relations Bill 2023, National Assembly Bills number 44 of 2023 by the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights of this House. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Chairperson, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and I encourage members to read on these proposed amendments. They are very critical before the amendments are made. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Members have been well advised. Let's go now to statements pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B. We start with the Chair. Chair and Delegate has a personal issue that is going to attend. Senator Karungo, you are the first on this order, but allow Senator Mwenda Gataya to read a statement. He has lost his sister, so he is running up and down to organize for the funeral. And I receive our condolences, Senator Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for intervening on my behalf. Honorable Speaker, I allow me to read the statement on the activities of the, the Committee on Delegated Legislation for the period 1st of April 2024 to 30th of August 2024. Pursuant to Standing Order number 56(1)B of the Senate Standing Orders, Honorable Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56(1)B of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement relating to the activities of the Committee on Delegated Legislation for the period April to August 2024. During the period, Honorable Speaker, under reference, the committee held a total of 41 sittings at which it considered various statutory instruments and held stakeholders' engagements. Committee benchmarking and stakeholders' engagements. Honorable Speaker, the committee did not undertake any benchmarking activities but engaged with 10 stakeholders in the coordination of various statutory instruments. On processing of statutory instruments, Honorable Speaker, the committee considered and acceded to the following statutory instruments. 1, the revision of laws under 2023. 2, the National Building Code 2024. 3, the Fisheries Management Regulations Legal Notice number 4956 of 2024. 4, the Survey Electronic Cadastral Transactions Amendments Regulation 2024, Legal Notice number 70 of 2024. The Community Land Amendments Regulations Legal Notice number 73 of 2024. The Land Registration Revocation Regulations Legal Notice number 75 of 2024. And the Climate Change Carbon Markets Regulations Legal Notice number 84 of 2024. The committee announced the following statutory instruments: the Social Health Insurance Fund Regulations, the Social Health Insurance Tribunal Procedure Laws, the Physical Land Use Regulations, Planning Fees and Amendments, the Land Amendments Regulation Legal Notice number 74 2024, and the Land Legislation General Amendments Regulation Legal Notice number 77 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, the committee, through a motion, sought an extension for 3 statutory instruments on land matters, namely the various forms and fees amendments rules legal notice number 69 of 2024, the land adjudication amendments and regulation legal notice number 76 of 2024, and the survey amendments and regulations legal notice number 71 of 2024. Honorable Speaker, these regulations later came into operation. Honorable Speaker, the committee formed its resolutions on the draft water sector trust fund projects funding criteria formulated pursuant to section 1163 of the Water Act number 43 of 2016. The committee communicated its resolution to the Ministry of Water, Sanitation, and Irrigation for adoption of prior to publication of the same regulations. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee also considered the draft Affordable Housing Regulation 2024 and made several inputs prior to the publication by the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. During the preview, the committee also, Honorable Speaker, resolved to have the Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development withdraw and republish 3 statutory instruments that were amended and expired statutory instruments. Honorable Speaker, and during the remainder of the third session, the committee has prioritized the conclusion of the consideration of such instruments before the committee. The committee also intends to engage with the counterpart committees of the county assemblies for capacity building. As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I wish to thank the office of the Speaker and the clerk of the Senate for the steadfast support and they have what they have accorded this committee, as well as members of the committee for their dedication, commitment to duty. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is Senator Mwenda Gataya, More Fire, Member of Parliament, Chairperson, Committee on Delegated Legislation. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, thank you, Senator Kataya, Chair and Delegated. Let's now go to the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Loans, Transportation and Housing. Kiambu Senator, Senator Karungo Wadhangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, indeed, I am Karungo Wadhangwa, the Senator of Kiambu. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B to make a statement on the activities of the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing for the period commencing 1st of April 2024 to 30th June 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Standing Committee on Road, Transportation and Housing is established under Standing Order 228-3 of the Senate Standing Orders and is mandated to consider all matters relating to transport, roads, public works, housing, construction and maintenance of roads, rails and buildings, seaports and communication. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the period under consideration, the committee held 18 sittings. The committee considered 2 bills, 1 legislative proposal, 1 petition, and 17 statements. And with me that I'll table attached to this statement is a schedule of legislative business considered by the committee. During the period under review, 7 statements that have been referred to the committee in the previous reporting periods were considered but not concluded because the committee sought supplementary information from the respective government agencies. The committee has, however, received several responses to statement to which it intends to consider during a retreat of the committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee adopted a methodology of consideration of statements where it invites senators who request for statements referred to the committee before seeking a response from the relevant government agencies. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this methodology is to apprise the committee on the nature of the statement, information gathering, policy review or intervention, deviation of law or processes that would call for oversight on the part of the committee. Reduce the number of supplementary issues that are sought from the statements and to provide clarity to an issue before the committee seeks for a response to the statement. If you allow me, Mr. Speaker, just for clarity, what I'm trying to say is that once we receive the statement from the Speaker, before we direct it to the agencies or government agencies to get a response, we first of all invite the senator who sought that statement so that they can give us more information, because we understood that our statements at this House, they are over-edited, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the reporting period, the committee held the following two consultative meetings. One, with the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development, to deliberate on conditional grants to counties on the Kenya Urban Support Program, that is KUSIP 2, and the Kenya Informal Settlement Improvement Project, that is KISIP 2. The committee will be further engaging the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development to ensure that eligible counties are prepared to absorb the funds from the grants. That is because we noted most counties are not prepared to absorb these funds, Mr. Speaker. Or Madam Speaker, B, with the Ministry of Roads and Transport to deliberate on the conditional grant to counties on the Roads Maintenance Levy Fund, RMLF. The committee established that the Ministry of Roads and Transport was not willing to disburse the RMLF funds to counties in pretext of being required not to do so by the National Assembly through a resolution of 28 September 2023. The same is evidenced by the failure of the National Assembly to include the RMLF share to counties in the County Government Additional Allocation Bill 2024. And in this one, we hope the new CS, Mr. Chilchil, will agree with the committee on how to give these funds to the counties. Mr. Speaker, sir, Madam Speaker, sir, Madam Speaker, sorry. In this period, the committee visited the Roads and Transport Authority of the United Arab Emirates so as to enhance the capacity of the committee on policy framework and operations in the areas of bus rapid transit system and road tolling system. Madam Speaker, the committee experienced the following challenges. One, delayed response to statements, petitions, and inquiries by government agencies. The committee experienced cases of delayed response to information, sought partly because some statements were not clear as to where to seek the information between the national government agencies and the county governments. Madam Speaker, number two, we also experienced the following challenge: non-attendance of the meetings to consider responses to statement by senators who requested the statements. This delayed conclusion of the statement. And Madam Speaker, here, the committee also adopted another methodology by inviting the senators to our committee through letters, so that we can file those letters, and whenever they are needed, we can produce to the Senate to show that so-and-so failed to appear before the committee, so that once we consider the statement without the Senate in question, nobody would blame the committee, Madam Speaker. And with that, Madam Speaker, I thank you. My name, Karungo Wadhangwa, Senator of Kiambu, Chairperson, Committee on Road, Transportation, and Housing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Karungo Wadhangwa. I believe the next statement was to be issued by the Senate Majority Leader. So he's not here. So next order. I think we still have two more reports to be given by the Chairperson, Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources, to make a statement relating to the activities of the committee for the period April to August 2024, Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B of the Senate Standing Orders to make a statement relating to the activities of the Standing Committee on Land, Environment, and Natural Resources during the period of April to August 2024. Honorable Speaker, during the period under review, the committee held a total of 18 sittings, which it considered 5 bills, 6 petitions, and 24 statements. Attached to this statement is a schedule of the legislative business considered by the committee. In the reporting period, the committee held meetings with the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, the National Land Commission on 3 different bills, and further sought written responses on petitions and statements. In addition, written responses were sought with some responses still pending from the following stakeholders. Number 1, the Ministry of Land, Housing and Urban Development. Number 2, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry. Number 3, the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation. Number 4, the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. Number 5, the Ministry of Tourism, Wildlife and Heritage. And number 6, National Land Commission. Honorable Speaker, the committee considered and tabled 3 reports on the following 3 bills. Number 1, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 46 of 2023. Number 2, the Wildlife Conservation and Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bill number 49 of 2023. Number 3, the National Rating Bill 2022, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022. The committee intends to table its report on the Land Amendment Bill 2022, National Assembly Bill number 40 of 2022. Following the conclusion of the consideration of the bill, conclusion of the consideration of the bill. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, the committee is currently considering 3 bills currently under mediation. Honorable Speaker, the committee has 8 petitions committed to it that are pending and under consideration, having tabled 1 report of the petition by the Siani residents on the destruction of the 41 hectares of Siani wetland during the period under review. The committee has since managed to consider 6 of the petitions during the reporting period and following the receipt of the written submissions from various stakeholders. Honorable Speaker, 3 of the aforementioned petitions require county visits by the committee to enable conclusion of consideration of the petitions. The committee endeavors to ensure completion of the remainder of the petitions that are pending by the next reporting period as it pursues the response from the relevant stakeholders. Honorable Speaker, cumulatively, the committee has received a total of 132 statements, out of which 92 have been concluded, 40 are pending before the committee. This translates to a completion rate of 70%. During the period under review, 7 statements were considered by the committee and dispatched to the relevant senators. Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, I wish to thank your office and that of the Clerk of the Senate for the continuous support that has been accorded the committee in undertaking its work. Lastly, I also wish to thank the members of the committee for their commitment and diligence and contributions during the committee activities. Signed by myself, John Muhia Medhu, Senator for Nyandarua and Chair of the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator John Muhia Methu. The next statement is by the Chairperson, Select Committee on County Public Investments and Special Funds, to make a statement relating to the activities of the committee for the period April to August 2024. Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1B to make a statement on the activities of the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee for the period commencing April 2024 to September 2024. That is the last 5 months. During the period under review, the committee held a total of 65 meetings within and outside the precincts of Parliament to consider matters within its mandate. Honorable Speaker, during that period, the committee concluded interrogation of reports of the Auditor General on the financial public funds in counties for the years 2018, 2019, 2019, 2020, and 2020, 2021, where we met 44 county executives. During the said interrogation, Madam Speaker, numerous cross-cutting issues affecting the operations of the funds were identified, and various recommendations are going to be provided in the reports that we are going to table. Madam Speaker, in the funds, we noted a lot of anomalies, including there being multiplicity of funds doing the same function. We had issues of non-compliance to the law. We had issues of governance and many other issues. Madam Speaker, all these issues are going to be detailed in our reports. Having concluded the consideration of the county funds, the committee embarked on interrogation of the audit report for county hospitals, county corporations, and county municipalities. Let me start with county hospitals, Madam Speaker. 47 county government manage a number of health facilities, including community health facilities, level 1, health dispensaries, which are categorized under level 2, health centers, level 3, county hospitals, which are categorized as level 4, and county referral hospitals categorized as level 5, whereby we are talking about a total of 358 facilities, which are level 4 hospitals, and further 14 facilities, which are level 5 in the counties. Mr. Speaker, this is a significant step by the Senate because the Senate had not been considering audit report for hospitals, and even the Auditor General had not been issuing audit report for hospitals. And the audit report for hospitals is a significant step, Madam Speaker, because you know very well hospitals are a key on-source revenue centers in our counties. For the financial year ended 30th June 2022, only 50 level 4 hospitals and 8 level 5 hospitals submitted their financial statement to the Auditor General for audit, while in the financial year 2022-2023, 209, comprising of 195 or 54% of level 4 hospitals, and all the 14 level 5 hospitals submitted their financial statement for audit. Hospitals not submitting their financial statement to the Auditor General for audit points to a wanting level of non-compliance with the reporting requirement as required under the PFM Act. Madam Speaker, we have noted a number of counties which have not been submitting reports, financial report to the Auditor General. And this includes Nairobi County, which has not been submitting financial statement, Narok and others. Madam Speaker, as a committee, we have agreed to invite these counties to explain to us why they have not been submitting financial statement for their hospitals, because it is contrary to the Public Audit Act and the PFM Act. Madam Speaker, from the reports of the Auditor General on hospitals, the committee observed that nearly all the hospitals in our counties were ill-equipped and ill-prepared for the universal health care, UHS, as they were not properly understaffed and ill-equipped to offer critical services that are required in hospitals like radiology, dialysis, and other specialized medical care. Madam Speaker, we also broke new grounds by starting to investigate the reports for municipalities, which was another new for the Senate, which had not been looking at municipalities. Honorable Speaker, the data available indicates that there are 110 gazetted municipalities established by 45 counties, with the Nairobi and Mombasa cities being deemed to be counties as stipulated under Section 6 and 27 of the Urban Areas and Cities Act, Cap 275. Kiambu County records the highest number of municipalities at 12 municipalities. The committee noted that most municipalities lacked autonomy in terms of their function, their management, and finances, that adversely affecting the performance of various municipalities in service delivery in our counties. We noted that the Department of Lands and Physical Planning has been running municipalities contrary to the law in most of these municipalities, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, we'll be coming up with a report on the financial audit report for all the municipalities in the country. And we also hope that this is another major source of on-source revenue in our counties, that with the proper governance, we are going to see a rise in the level of on-source revenue. Meeting with the stakeholders, during the period under review, Madam Speaker, the committee met with key stakeholders, including the Honorable Attorney General and the Auditor General, to deliberate on a number of issues affecting counties. The upcoming activities and reports, Honorable Madam Speaker, the committee has also adopted a total of 108 reports of all the water companies in Kenya, and we have processed them for tabling and debate in this House. Madam Speaker, this is the first level of audit reports for these water companies. From next year, the committee will be starting the second level of review of the audit report for water companies, which includes the current reports up to the year ended 2023. The committee plans to conduct fact-finding visits to various counties, subject to availability of funds, to inspect the various water companies, report writing, and continue to interrogate audit report for hospitals, municipalities, and corporations in our county. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, from the interaction with the different county executives, the committee continues to observe that there is an apparent wastage and misappropriation of public resources in our counties, particularly the public funds which are established in our county. And of concern, Madam Speaker, is the bursary funds in our counties. Bursary funds in our counties have been misappropriated. And I think this House has to take a stand that bursaries, it is high time that we abolish bursary funds in our counties, because that is not a devolved function and the funds continue to be misused. I therefore implore the individual senators to enhance the oversight role through the Senate oversight function and ensure that the funds established in our counties and other entities are adequately monitored and observed to ensure that we get value for money for our people. I further wish to implore the House and its committees to hold governors to account for public resources under their control, noting that governors are the chief executive officers of counties as per Article 179 of the Constitution. They are responsible and the buck stops with them. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I submit. Honorable Godfrey Osozi, Chairperson, CIPIC.
Thank you, Senator Osotsi. We now receive a statement statement pursuant to Standing Order 57-1 from the Senate Majority Leader. He will issue a statement on the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 8th October 2024. Senator Aaron Cheriot.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a statement by the Majority Leader on the business of the Senate for the week commencing Tuesday, 8th of October, 2024, which is pursuant to Standing Order number 57-1. Madam Speaker, this is the statement of the business for the week that commences on the 8th of October, 2024. With respect to the business of the Senate, the status of legislative business is as follows. There are 60 bills that are pending conclusion, of which 47 are at the second reading stage, while 13 are at the committee of the whole stage. 30 motions, including the ones in the order paper for today, under notices of motion are pending conclusion. 21 petitions are due for reporting in the respective standing committees. 419 statements are pending before standing committees. On Tuesday, the 8th of October 2024, the SBC will meet to consider the business for the week. Tentative business for that day will include business not concluded from the order paper, as well as business indicated in the notice appended to order paper. The tentative business for morning sitting of Wednesday, the 9th of October 2024 will include schedule of questions to cabinet secretaries as approved by the SBC, as well as motions. The summary of questions, Madam Speaker, are as follows. There's a question to the CS for ASAL by Senator Rachel Murgor, and another one to the CS of Diaspora and Foreign Affairs by Senator Edwin Sifuna. There's question number 49 by Senator George Mbugwa to the CS for Health. Question number 75 to the CS for Health from Senator Peris Tebuiko. There's a question by Senator Jackson Mandago to the CS for Health. Another one to the CS for Health as well by Senator Agnes Kavindu. Another one to Senator Joyce Korir. And last but not least, to the CS for Health by Senator Hamida Kibwana. The business for the afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 9th October 2024 will include business not concluded in the order paper for Tuesday, 8th of October 2024, and the following. The bills that are at second reading stage, which are the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill, the County Government's Election Laws Amendment Bill, the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, County Civic Education Bill, County Statistics Bill, Provisions of Sanitary Towels Bill, and the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill. The bills that are the Committee of the Whole, which are the Houses of Parliament Bicameral Relations Bill, the Nuts and Oil Crops Development Bill, the Public Transport Motorcycle Regulation Bill, the Street Vendors Protection of Livelihood Bill, the Fire and Rescue Services Professionals Bill, Local Content Bill, Early Childhood Education Bill, Land Amendment Bill, Intergovernmental Relation Bill, Energy Amendment Bill, National Disaster Risk Management Bill, and the Cooperative Societies Bill. Reports of the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare on inquiry into the welfare of workers in EPZs in Mombasa and Kilifi counties. There is a report also on the Standing Committee on Devolution on the intergovernmental relations into the inquiry of the personal security concerns raised by Honorable Philomena Kapkori, the DG of Trans Nzoia. Reports of the Standing Committee on Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations on its inquiry into the state of markets in Vihiga and Bungoma County visits arising from a statement sought by Senator Godfrey Osotsi and Senator David Wakoli. There's also a motion on the report of the Select Committee on CPIC and Special Funds on its consideration of audit report of the various water services company for financial year 2018-19, Volume 6, 19-20, Volume 7, 2021 financial year, Volume 9. There's also a motion on the development of policy and law for social risk management in infrastructure development projects in Kenya. There's a consolidation of bursary funds for equitable access to education in Kenya, and steps to effective management in cities, towns, and urban areas in the country. The projected business for Thursday, 10th of October 2024 will include business not included in the order papers for Tuesday, 8th of October 2024, and Wednesday, 9th of October 2024. Any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you and hereby, Madam Speaker, sorry, I thank you and hereby do lay the statement on the table of the Senate. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Majority Leader. There are senators who would wish to to debate the statements that have been brought before the House. Senator Chiralike Samson Kiprotich.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, sorry. One, I would want to make a few comments. One, on the statement by Senator Ezena Lemaletian on the status of roads in Samburu. Mr. Speaker, I want to concur with her that I would have expected the chairperson of roads, transports, and housing, Senator Karungo Adangwa, to tell the House how many roads have stalled in Kenya. Because in Nandi County, Madam Speaker, we have a number of stalled roads like Chemuswa Danger, Kurgung Chepterwa, Chepsaita Kapkatembu Road, Kobere Maraba Timborwa Road, Celia Kaiboy Chepkober Road in Talai, Nandil Simaki Road, Nandils Mugundo Eneko Safani Road, Mo University Resource Center, Kilibwani Junction Road. All these roads, Madam Speaker, have stalled. And therefore, I want to ask the Roads Committee, they should give us a breakdown of stalled roads, including that are in Nandi, because on the all six constituencies in Nandi, Madam Speaker, most of the roads that were rated to bitumen standards have either stalled or they are yet to be started, Mr. Speaker. So we needed guidance from the Roads Committee that these roads must be fixed. And you know, Madam Speaker, in Nandi, just like Richo, Bomet, Wazingishu, and even up to Meru, up to Nyandarua, Madam Speaker, the roads are very pathetic because our counties are rainy, Madam Speaker, and you find farmers are hard to transport things like perishable, like milk, even in Muranga, like coffee, like tea, like maize, Madam Speaker, even transportation of sugar cane, Madam Speaker. And I'm happy the member of Kisumu is here, Senator Professor Tomo Jenda. We suffer both because we share the transportation, and I'm happy in mediation bill, Madam Speaker, we are even proposing under sugar development levy fund to put into the sugar board to ensure roads within the sales that are paid for within the sugar growing areas, Madam Speaker, we can maintain those roads. So in Nandi, Madam Speaker, we hope these roads can be fixed into the future to allow our economy to thrive. Number two, Madam Speaker, I would have expected the Senate Majority Leader, and I wish he would be listening. While I appreciate Senator Adama Olekina is now part of government, Madam Speaker, I would want him to listen to us, the majority. I would have expected him to give us the status, Madam Speaker, on the functionality of the House. Madam Speaker, you remember a few weeks ago, we were being told the operations of the Senate were likely to be affected, Madam Speaker, and Senate machinani. And we have a pending bill of around 500 million. I want to appeal to Senate Majority Leader, even if he does not state it on the floor of the House in the plenary, Madam Speaker, he should at least call us for a Kamkunji with your office so that we can IO some of these challenges. And I can see my law lecturer, Professor Tomo Jenda, who taught me principles of conveyancing, is excited because he's the one who arrived in government before others, and I'm told he has been serving teen state house. Madam Speaker, finally on the nightclubs, I saw the final, this will be finally on Senator Amidas. I have seen the chief officer of Nairobi City County walking around, closing clubs like Quiver, closing churches, closing mosques. Madam Speaker, I saw the CS in charge of environment, Adan Bare Duale, the lion of Garissa, who was sent to the forest, as per the reporter, Madam Speaker, saying there is too much noise from clubs and churches. What he forgot also, he should ask the mosque, Madam Speaker, so that we don't appear discriminative. So as he moves out to control the noise pollution across the city, Madam Speaker, we must be told, Madam Speaker, this issue of nightclubs, and we must ensure under-alcoholic drinks at control, Madam Speaker. There is a club in Eldoret that shares with a school only 100 meters, Madam Speaker. We want to be told, Madam Speaker, yes, and it looks like Senator Metu has been a patron in that club, Madam Speaker. That club is only 100 meters to 50 meters from the school. I want to challenge the county commissioner of Wasingishu County and tell, unless he has been compromised, Dr. Edison Nyale, why would he allow a club to operate next to us, to Nova School, Madam Speaker? We must be told which law are we applying. Why is it in other areas, the clubs are far from the school? But why is this special about this club, Madam Speaker, that is nearer to the school? Say that even they can argue that they are put soundproof, Madam Speaker. Even when you go to churches here in Nairobi and clubs, they can argue they are put soundproof, Madam Speaker. I want to ask the Wasingishu County Security Team, don't apply the law selectively. In the, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, in the story of Shamba la Wanyama, we cannot use the principle that other animals are more equal than others. We are all equal before the law, Madam Speaker. And therefore, I challenge the DCC in charge of that area where Nova School is reside. I challenge the Wasingishu County Security Team led by the County Commissioner and the County Commander to follow the law. If we allow, Madam Speaker, those issues to function, we are breeding impunity in this country, Madam Speaker. We will not allow, Madam Speaker. That is why I'm challenging, let us, by the end of next week, that club should be closed, Madam Speaker. We cannot be applying double standards in this country. If we cannot follow the law, why would you close Quiver, for example? Why would you close the one near schools or near parliament? Let's everybody operate without following the law, Madam Speaker. And I think it is very important that even as noise pollution is being followed, Madam Speaker, we must follow it to ensure that we go into the future, Madam Speaker. With those very many remarks, I submit, Madam Speaker, and support all the statements, including the statement on lands. Although the chairperson, I know he's still on a borrowed time, Madam Speaker, that he is yet to invite me on the status of construction dams, Madam. I think Majority Leader should guide
Can
your
you
member
raise
chair.
a point of order when he's giving his comments? What are you clarifying, Senator Metu?
Honorable Speaker, you know, I have a lot of respect to the Senator for Nandi. And in 1969, there was a very distinguished legislator called Tom Boyer, and he met Kenyatta operatives, and he was told that he was living on borrowed time, and he didn't live long. So I wanted a clarification on what exactly the Senator for Nandi means when he says that I'm living on borrowed time.
Senator Charadigay, where is the time being borrowed from?
Madam Speaker, I meant he is living on borrowed time because my statement has taken over here. So that is what I meant, Madam Speaker. I didn't mean any other. And Senator Metu should relax because he's sitting to the majority leader, the next to the majority leader, the deep state. So, Madam Speaker, so you should worry less. I meant that, and I think it is good that majority leader is in the house, that some statements have taken more than 2 years until it has been overtaken by amendments. I think the majority leader should call through liaison some members to order. But the guilty are always afraid. I don't know, but the Bible, Madam Speaker, talks about the guilty are always afraid. But Senator Metu is a fine young man. But one of these fine days, Madam Speaker, we might need to call for an Arambe. We buy him grooming equipments like Kuchanua so that he can improve. With those many remarks, Madam Speaker, I support the statement.
No, you have got beyond the topic and beyond the comments of clarification. Senator Tom Ojenda.
Yes, Madam Speaker, my contribution was to second or to ride on the statement by Senator Lel-Matian on, Madam Speaker, the transport question that my colleague, Senator Fernandi, has ably dealt with. Madam Speaker, it is important that Madam Speaker, that the chair of transport, I think the chair of transport is Senator Thangwa, is able to deal with the question of transportation. And it is true, Madam Speaker, that the road network in the sugar belt, in the sugar growing areas, is pathetic. It is pathetic, Madam Speaker, to the extent that farmers are not able to get value for money for the product that they deliver because of tractors breaking down every so often, because of the difficulty in transporting produce, in this case, sugarcane and other crops. And Madam Speaker, we know that the road network goes into inputs, because if you have poor road network, you spend more on transport than you should, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, further, the statement, Madam Speaker, is important because it goes to the question. It does not limit itself just to one county, Madam Speaker. It is a problem that all counties experience. And Madam Speaker, this evening, I will urge the Chair of Transport to ensure that there's an engagement with the CS Ministry of Roads, who was here last week, and with whom we engaged. And the new CS of Transport, Madam Speaker, the CS Churchill, undertook to engage on outstanding projects, including, Madam Speaker, and this we talked about last time, Madam Speaker, the road network in Moroni, the one connecting Moroni and Kisumu. That road is 30% complete. And there was a question of allocation of funds, Madam Speaker, and we've spoken to the allocation. And it is important, Madam Speaker, that overall, the assessment in the road network takes into account the roads that were spoiled due to the El Nino rains and that so far have not been brought to the level that they should be, and also bridges that were broken because of the heavy rains during the April cycle. And Madam Speaker, this afternoon, I think it is important for Senate to ensure that we process all the outstanding questions on roads and on the bad road network in most of the counties, Madam Speaker. I support.
Senator Ledama Olekina, few minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to support the statement by Senator Hamida on the issue of on the rise of entertainment joints and nightclub in residential areas within Nairobi City. Madam Speaker, this is a menace, and I think we really ought to support the governor of Nairobi in trying to control. This, Madam Speaker, if you look at it, is a statement that has been brought to the Security Committee. And while I stand here, Madam Speaker, this problem is not only in Nairobi. This problem is countrywide. And with this problem being countrywide, today I want to speak about what is happening in Narok County. Madam Speaker, because of all these nightclubs, night joints closer to residential areas, from January of this year, we have lost 22 people in Narok County who are being butchered at night. In fact, yesterday I called the IG and I requested him to be able to take measures to try and see how we can be able to control this thing. When I was traveling out of the country, I was called and I was told that one of my friend, who was also seeking the voters to support him to come to this house, his name is Olaldapash, his son was killed at night. You know? And in fact, those people who killed him in Narok town butchered him, removed, I don't know whether they mutilated his body. And it's just because of this issue of allowing these entrepreneurs to be all over. I think it's about time that we now zone our county headquarters. Nairobi County has got to be zoned. We don't have to have clubs everywhere. We can actually have a beer street for those people who like drinking. You know, if you go to Nairobi West, there's a whole street which is a beer street. Why don't we just put everything there? You know, even yesterday I had the Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Senator Ada Duale, talking about the noise. It's not only about the noise, but people are taking advantage. It is very difficult now to be able to survive in this country because of how expensive things are. So, Madam Speaker, I want to request that when the Security Committee will be dealing with this statement by Senator Hamida, I would like them to also deal with the menace in Narok County. We cannot lose 22 young men. You know, they are butchered at night. The security operators are there. This matter is reported to the security and nothing is being done. You know, I'm grateful that yesterday when I spoke to the IG,
he promised that he's going to take measures to ensure that he either change the entire security people in Narok Town or at least get to the end of this. So this statement is very important. We need to zone our cities, you know? In fact, because clubs are normally associated to sinners and all that crazy stuff, we should actually just excise out a section in the city and zone it and call it sinners club or sinners area, so that we can go and do everything there. If you go and kill yourself there, shauri yenyu. But in residential, it is something that really hurts me. So, Madam Speaker, I support this statement, and I hope that the IG and the Security Committee of this House will take action. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Ledama. We now reorganize the order paper and direct that order number 19, 20, 21, 22 be deferred. Oh, okay. We reorganize the order paper to defer order number 12, 13, 14, and 15. And that means we have not deferred the other orders that I have read earlier, but instead have deferred order number 12, 13, 14, and 15, partly because 16 and 17, partly because the chairpersons of the respective committees are not here, and partly because of quorum matters. I will now request the clerk to call out order number 20. Next order.
Order number 20, the Political Parties Amendment number 2 Bill, Senate Bills number 26 of 2024, second reading.
Majority Leader, you may proceed. Senator Aaron Cheriot.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just 1 second. I beg to move that the Political Parties Amendment Bill, Bill number 2 of 2024, be now read a second time. Madam Speaker, the Political Parties Amendment Bill, Bill number actually 26, sorry, I had mentioned earlier that it's Bill number 2. It's actually the second one of there are quite a number of political parties amendment bill. There's 1 and 2. But in terms of its sequencing in Senate, it is Bill number 26 rather, of 2024. This bill was published in the Kenya Gazette Supplement number 96 of 2024, dated 7th of May 2024. The principal object of this bill, Madam Speaker, is to amend the Political Parties Act of 2011 and replace the office of the Registrar of Political Parties with the Independent Political Parties Regulatory Commission. This bill also seeks to delete any reference to the coalition of political party or a coalition political party in the Act. This bill seeks to give effect to some of the recommendations and views of the public that were submitted during the NADCO process. This is one of the famous NADCO bills, Madam Speaker, where everybody knows the history of how we got to the NADCO process. And we have many bills, Madam Speaker. We have since passed the IBC bill, and this is one of the 3 that are remaining before the Senate, including now, later on, a constitutional amendment bill that is before Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, which you are a member. Like I have pointed out, Madam Speaker, this bill seeks to replace the office of the Registrar of Political Parties with an independent commission of Registrar of Political Parties. You do know, Madam Speaker, very well that there has been contention about how independent the office of the Registrar of Political Parties is. And for somebody like you, who has served on 2 occasions as a feat that is not known to any other Kenyan, the only Secretary General who has delivered 2 ruling parties in subsequent elections is none other than yours truly. That's serious decoration in terms of political contribution to the country. I know in 2017, you are Secretary General of JAP, which morphed into the Jubilee Coalition. And the last general election, Madam Speaker, you served as the Secretary General of the ruling party, United Democratic Alliance. And anybody that has been within the circles of political parties know how crucial this office is. Sometimes the difference between keeping an official, losing an office, losing a party, and not losing it depends on the decisions that are made there at the political parties. A very powerful office, especially when you're getting near to elections time, Madam Speaker. Yet, the stakeholders that appeared before us in the NADCO process spoke to us and actually felt that this office has not been granted the stature of importance of the work that it does. And therefore, they felt that there was need to remodify this office from being just an office created under the IBC, actually, to an independent entity that has independent commissioners who, by statute, are appointed into office through a political process that is competitive and end up serving the interest of all political parties equally, Madam Speaker. You know, one of the biggest struggles that this country continues to have to date, Madam Speaker, are independent institutions. Institutions that can withstand even the men that are in power. And I use the title men intentionally, because rarely is it women that abuse power. Most of the time it is the male folk that do that, Madam Speaker. We need credible institutions that can rule even against presidents, vice presidents, senators, members of parliament, MCAs, senior civil servants in a dispute and grant orders of favorable judgment or favorable hearing in a pleading against the ordinary citizens. That is a hallmark of a great country, Madam Speaker, where all are equal before the law. And this is one such attempt, because listening to the members of the public as they appeared before us, there was a yearning and a desire that we need to reform this office so that when they make certain decisions, it doesn't appear as if they are hands that are pulling the registrar like a marionette and forcing them to make decisions this way or the other. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I'll go to the specifics of the bill. Clause 1 basically is the short title of the bill. Clause 2 provides for the definition of the commission. I have laid basis for this commission, Madam Speaker. Clause 3 provides for the deletion of reference to the registrar. Remember, we are replacing a simple office of a registrar with an independent institution, Madam Speaker. Clause 4 provide for the principal act by repealing section 14 of the Political Parties Act of 2011. And clause 5 establish the responsibilities of IPPRC, the Independent Political Parties Regulatory Commission, which include, number 1, to register political parties and the office holder. B, the management of political parties fund established under this act, ensuring that publication of audited annual accounts of political parties. Madam Speaker, party members deserve to know how much was raised in our political parties, contribution from members, deduction from elected officials, donations, Madam Speaker, and monies that have been sent from the political parties fund, Madam Speaker. If we want to build strong political parties in this country, Madam Speaker, then them being transparent in their financial transaction is part of what this office needs to encourage them to do. I know it's done, Madam Speaker, but with better detail is what this law is calling for. There's also the duty to maintain a register of political parties and the symbol of political parties, basically responsibilities, you know, that are present in law and done by the political parties. The bill, Madam Speaker, has clause 8, which provides for the saving provisions indicating that a person who immediately before the commencement of this act was a member of the staff of office of registrar shall be deemed to be a member of staff to the commission and shall continue to serve under the same terms and conditions. You know, Madam Speaker, many times when you do legislation, chief is one such example. Part of the hurdles that we continue to face is that people imagine that once you replace, then they lose their job and you create. We have provided in the transition clauses that the staff who work at the office of the Registrar of Political Parties will move to this institution on same terms. Madam Speaker, I'll say something later about a conversation and further proposals that I have since received, including from the present registrar, on how this institution can be bettered, Madam Speaker. And it's something for engagement, which at the committee of the whole stage, once we have listened and have been informed by debate from members, Madam Speaker, we shall be making the final determination. Remember, and this is something that I mentioned earlier, this is a bipartisan bill, Madam Speaker, which you have to carry the views of everybody with you. So clause 8 is a saving clause of staffers of this office. The bill further states that the regulatory commission in performance of its function shall be independent office and not be under the direction and control of any person or authority. Just by law, it's in practice, but Kenyans are Kenyans, Madam Speaker. They believe that the big man in office, one such example is, if you read Article 249 of our Constitution, Madam Speaker, it speaks of the police. Let me just cite it as an example. That the Inspector General of Police shall exercise independent command of the police service. But I see many times, including even honorable members, including the so-called learned fellows, speak to the microphone and demand for answers from the executive led by the president on actions by the Inspector General of Police, this or the other way. This concept of independence of office is still alien to our minds, and many people believe that any action that is taken, Madam Speaker, until we begin to accept and believe that it is possible to have independent offices that can rule even against government, you know, and say this request by the executive is turned down because of ABCD, for people to believe that that is possible. Additionally, Madam Speaker, this bill states that the regulatory commission shall have 5 commissioners appointed by the president with the approval of the National Assembly. I have told. I don't
Who
know.
is playing that video, or what is it that is playing?
I don't know. Maybe something. Madam Speaker, additionally, the bill states that that commission shall be approved by the National Assembly. I have said times without number. For any laws that we pass this house, when the committee gets to a clause that proposes such, it is good of them to recognize that we have an institution called Parliament that has 2 houses. So it is them to amend accordingly. I expect that later on, JLAC will do justice as they lead us towards amending, because political parties is a political process. Why do you want it to be approved by only one house? You need to approve the same by both houses, Madam Speaker. I know it's my bill, supposedly, quote unquote, but that is an amendment that must be moved, and we must state the same. So this is an important bill, Madam Speaker. Like I have said, I have listened to submissions later, even after the publication of this bill, from many concerned players, including comparable jurisdictions. There are jurisdictions that have gone this way of establishing an independent register of political parties and the challenges that arose. I have listened even including to the present registrar, and I know there's a memorandum that they have sent to this House, Madam Speaker. We need to listen to them as the users of this law. They have prepared some good proposals of how this can be made better. It's only that I have noted and I have stated, Madam Speaker, that this was a bipartisan bill, and therefore even in seeking amendment, the same has to be considered. But this is good progress, Madam Speaker, which I hope we can conclude on, and this can become law, Madam Speaker, so that we have better sanity in our political parties. You know, there are too many political parties, Madam Speaker. That's why I have a problem even with the present registrars, things are. Yet even on account of one clause, just one clause of what a political party is, it fails 99% of many of these so-called briefcase political parties, Madam Speaker. Even just alone the requirement to have an office in at least more than half of the counties, which is 24. How many political parties have more than 24 offices across our counties in this country? And so many others, Madam Speaker, so that we stop this business of people having briefcase political parties that are transactional only during election time, Madam Speaker. We must build a strong culture. In established democracies, Madam Speaker, there are no more than 2 political formations. If you see older democracies, but if you move maybe to Europe, they've even gone further and are moving towards political coalitions, Madam Speaker. And I must happily note, Madam Speaker, that part of what you're doing also here is a deletion of that very non-conventional creation by statute that passed here in very difficult times towards the 2022 general election, something called a coalition political party, which members hurriedly passed. Then within months or a few weeks later, they all gathered at KICC and realized that it was not possible to have candidates run on something called, for example, Azimio Coalition Party, and have since realized how impractical that is. And we are seeking actually the deletion of the existence of a coalition political party as described in that particular law. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I was speaking to the need to provide sanity in our political parties, Madam Speaker, so that you have functional political parties that do election regularly, have elected officials, transcend beyond one party leader to the next, and people take ownership of that particular party. The proper beginning, Madam Speaker, is to have an independent political party so that people can argue on ideals, on things that they believe. I must also appreciate, Madam Speaker, I saw, I think yesterday or the day before, that the young people that have been on the street calling for more accountability have since registered a political party. That's a welcome move, Madam Speaker. It is better than tweeting insults and the kind of things that I see some of them do, Madam Speaker, because we have a constitution. At the end of the day, you may not like Professor Tom Ojienda, but for now, between now and 2027, he remains to be the senator of Kisumu. If you don't agree with his ideals and what he professes in his political practice, Madam Speaker, the proper thing to do is either join a political party or run independently, Madam Speaker, and come and do a better job. That's the essence of democracy, Madam Speaker. I don't see why people want to create enmity out of political processes, Madam Speaker. And therefore, it is important that we have an office that will expand our democratic space by ensuring that we have sanity in our political parties, Madam Speaker, and our political parties have a fair, competing environment, Madam Speaker. With those very many remarks, I beg to move and request the Senator for Kisumu, Professor Tom Ojienda, to second this bill. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Aaron. Senator Tom, Professor Tom Ojienda.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the bill on the bill amending the Political Parties Amendments Bill number 2, 2024, could not have come at a better time. It could not have come at a better time, Madam Speaker, because it seeks to democratize the political space by introducing an independent commission to replace the office of the Registrar of Political Parties. Madam Speaker, from the onset, it is clear that an independent commission would fall within the rubric of commissions regulated under Article 251, and therefore would be independent not only in execution of duty, but in ensuring that the oversighting of political parties and the framework of political parties is governed by the 5 individuals who shall be appointed in accordance with the proposals under the new Section 33B, uppercase B of the amendments. Section 33 uppercase B, as intended, mandates the appointment of a commission of 5 appointed by the President after nomination by the National Assembly, Madam Speaker, consisting of 2 men, gender equality, man and woman, nominated by the majority party, and another 2, man and a woman, nominated by the minority party. The last member in the commission of 5 is nominated by the Public Service Commission. Madam Speaker, this is a move in the right direction. The commission will operate in a manner not only independent, but to reflect the principles of democracy, where it shall no longer be, Madam Speaker, business as usual for one single hand, the registrar, to make decisions on the composition and registration of political parties. Madam Speaker, when the Azimio coalition was born, and I'm glad that when moving this motion, this bill, the Senate Majority Leader spoke of briefcase political parties. Of concern, Madam Speaker, is that there were about 26 political parties forming the Azimio coalition. And of those 26 political parties, the only real political parties were about 10, with other parties being briefcase parties, members or owners of those parties carrying briefcases with all the documents and disappearing into thin air after the signing of the coalition agreement. Madam Speaker, these amendments will surely lead to a proper framework that mirrors what we have in the US, where we have the blues and the reds, where we have a convergence of strong political parties going forward, parties that are well regulated, that will benefit from the political parties fund established under Section 23, and that will truly be a mirror of the country and reflect political ideology and shades of political creativity. I say it will, Madam Speaker, have what we call political horticulture, where you will have shades of opinion of different leaders, Madam Speaker. And we need, for this country, Madam Speaker, to move the next level, we want to see strong political parties, not parties registered by night and dead by day. We want to see some longevity in the life of political parties. Madam Speaker, this is what this act intends to achieve. Madam Speaker, let me just mention this, that this is one of the bills that arise out of the national dialogue discourse. And this was therefore a bipartisan proposal, both by the minority and the majority side, in a framework, Madam Speaker, that was brought into life after the earlier maandamano that we had. And the government, or in this case, both the majority and minority, are acting in respect of the views of the people who presented their views during the national dialogue discourse on issues of electoral justice and related matters. Madam Speaker, this bill would not have come at a better time. At a time, Madam Speaker, when we have had some form of restructuring in governance, where we have moved, Madam Speaker, from the shareholding narrative to a broad-based narrative where we have every Kenyan as a shareholder in government. And Madam Speaker, it is therefore important that we move to the next level of ensuring that the next election in 2027 shall be fought on the basis of credible political parties and on the basis of performance by leaders whom we have elected, not on the basis of other irrelevant matters, Madam Speaker. And that is why I strongly support the adoption of this bill. This bill, Madam Speaker, is reflective of the intentions of the people of this country. Public participation shall be undertaken for this bill, but the public participation, Madam Speaker, shall go to the question of dealing with the age-old problem, Madam Speaker, of one individual, the registrar, controlling political parties, to a level where we have 5 commissioners, we have an independent commission, we have a framework that disperses political power to different individuals for control, so that in 2027, we do not have questions that bedeviled us in 2022, Madam Speaker, and after the election, so that we settle to a true democracy after the 2027 elections. I support. I second. Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator Professor Tom Ojenda. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the Political Parties Amendment Bill number 2, Senate Bills number 26 of 2024 be now read a second time. This bill is now open for debate, and I want to invite Senator Cherariki Samson Kiprotich to take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In fact, I would have expected you to be among the top contributors. You having history of running the defunct and moribund, our former beloved Bari Jubilee, and also you are the midwife of United Democratic Alliance Party as the SG of the party. I hope you will get time to contribute. And I'm happy the deputy party leader of ODM, my brother and neighbor, Senator Godfrey, and former Secretary General of one of the coalition of Kenya Kwanza, African Amani National Congress. It would be better, I hope we will learn from you, because you will be debating on something, Madam Speaker, that you have already gone through, and you know the challenges that political parties are. Madam Speaker, we need strong political parties, we need strong government, we need the rule of democracy. The beauty of democracy, as my law lecturer, Professor Tom Ojenda, and my neighbor has indicated, that we need a political horticulture. That's hiyo ni Kiingereza kubwa kabisa, Madam Speaker. So the political horticulture in this country, Madam Speaker. I've seen people growing excitement. I was told there is a party called Inject that had been registered by some young people, and people continue. That's the freedom we want. We want that independence, Madam Speaker, so that as we grow with political parties that we have. Madam Speaker, I'm making this with cognizant fact that Nandi County at the moment, we are facing labor crisis. As we talk, our hospitals and health centers, there is industrial action on a strike by health workers in Nandi. It is a sad situation. And I want to appeal through your office that the health committee of Senate, led by Senator Jackson Mandago, to intervene, because we are having serious crisis in terms of healthcare provision, Madam Speaker. And we have said, and I've said before, that the issue of health is big concern. So I thought I should mention, Madam Speaker, because people even from Nandi are following discourse of political parties. But I thought it is important that I mention, Madam Speaker, and I'm reliably informed, Madam Speaker, that EACC have already done a raid in Kapsabet County offices. And we hope with the investigation that is ongoing, we shall be able to be told who bears the great responsibility of corruption allegations that we are facing. Madam Speaker, even going into the future, we have agreed with the people of Nandi, and we have directed our MCAs, Madam Speaker, to commence impeachment proceedings against the sitting governor going into the future. Madam Speaker, let me mention a few things. One is that at 2022, we had 90 political parties. 90 political parties, and others are more briefcase political parties. Madam Speaker, I think it is a high time as a country we embrace party democracy. I might agree, many people, the presence of 90 political parties plus, because people continue to register, even as at now, Madam Speaker, that one does not mean that we are democratic. It means we have reduced ourselves to religion, region, tribal, among other factors, even class, Madam Speaker. Therefore, by 2022, more than 90 political parties have been registered by Office of Registrar of Political Parties, Madam Speaker. When you look at this amendment bill, where we want to establish Independent Political Parties Regulatory Commission to replace the Office of Registrar of Political Parties, Madam Speaker. For us, I expected all of us to say something on this, because we are the consumers of this office. I think over 99%, Madam Speaker, of members of parliament who are sitting here are either sponsored by any political party or any political formation, except a few who are elected through independent tickets as prescribed by the law, Madam Speaker. Therefore, Madam Speaker, as even we talk today, as we are in the House, we are the greatest consumers of political parties. We must ensure there is hygiene in terms of running of political parties, Madam Speaker, in this country. Under Article 91 and 92 of the Constitution of Kenya, the characteristics and the characteristics and design of political parties in this republic, Madam Speaker, should and must reflect the national outlook. Because one of the characteristics of political parties, it must reflect what we call national unity. That is the essence of any political parties. I don't know what we will do to ensure. I can tell you out of 90 political parties plus as a 2022, Madam Speaker, that are registered by political parties, none, a few have over 25, within 25 counties have an office, Madam Speaker. If you look at those offices nowadays, they have changed even color. Because we have used political parties as a vehicle. You reach your destination, you abandon, Madam Speaker. Yet in the wisdom and designers of this constitution, we had even allocated political parties fund to assist political parties to run. By creating an independent office, we shall be able to ask ourselves, now that political parties were funded, and rightfully so, within the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya, Madam Speaker, what is the essence of giving political parties? Like now, there is hot, as we are to political parties, as we head to elections in United States of America. We're having Donald Trump of Republican Party, Madam Speaker, and of course, Kamala Harris of the Democratic Party, and there are many other small parties like Tea Party, among others, Madam Speaker. That is now when you go there, when they call for NDC, National Delegates Conference, you are wondering how those people are well organized. And there are two political parties with different ideologies that must be respected. Madam Speaker, and as we approach to November, some of us are great supporters of Donald Trump, and we hope he wins, Madam Speaker, because the economy will look much better as opposed as to other ideologies, Madam Speaker. I know as a speaker and as a former SG, you want women empowerment, Madam Speaker. You go to China, the Communist Party. It is operated like a military style with military precision and concision, Madam, with an eye of military marksman. You go here to Chama cha Mapinduzi, the organizational structure of CCM, Chama cha Mapinduzi, led by our beloved sister, the President of Republic of Tanzania United, Mheshimiwa Samia Suluhu Hassan. The way they are organized from the grassroots, from the village to the national level is so meticulous that we as a country, we must build political parties on ideology. But also we should avoid political party tyranny, Madam Speaker. And that is why some parties, they cannibalize others, Madam Speaker. I saw was it Tundu Lucy or what, Tundu Lisa. Madam Speaker, they are plantooning him. I saw allegations where somebody, a party official, was removed by a moving bus, and those people decided to cannibalize, Madam Speaker, that party official. We also, as we preach for political ideology, we should not allow also political parties tyranny. So that even if you are the massive political party, you don't need to swallow or cannibalize other political parties. So we hope in this country, we will build a party like Communist, like Republican Party, like Democrat Party, Madam Speaker, like Chama cha Mapinduzi Party, and even our brother and our elder statesman of NRM, National Resistance Movement, NRM, by the Museveni, the president of the Uganda. We have seen also the Bobby Wine one, the National Unity Party platform. You go to South Africa, we have ANC. Also, ANC is losing makucha. What do you say makucha in English? Is losing some nails. We saw Mkonto and Zizwe by the former president, President Jacob Zuma. And even our brother who was fearing the other day when he came, he didn't have numbers. Kumbe he had phone numbers, the one Julius Malema, Madam Speaker, when he came to this republic. So we want to see the vibrancy, the ideology. When you walk to ANC, you know what the ideology is. They are the people who liberated South Africa from the white minority rule. When you talk to the one for Julius Malema, EFF, Economic Freedom Front Party, they are pushing for an agenda of nationalization and for the fairness of the majority of the black man. When you go to the DA, Democratic Alliance Party by Stephen Eisen, they have an ideology that that they are pursuing, Madam Speaker. Even the Mgonto one Sinswe that is being read UMK by Jacob Zuma, the former president of the Republic of South Africa. So that is the essence that we want to see, Madam Speaker, that we can identify with. So this office will ensure there is neatness, there is hygiene, by ensuring that the registration of political parties, the management of political parties fund. We really want to know, Madam Speaker, you know, no one has ever disclosed. We contribute. You and me contribute to our United Democratic Alliance Party. ODM, through the deputy party leader, is aware we contribute monthly subscription. The MCS contribute, the president, the deputy president. I don't know whether Raila Odinga is contributing, is not elected nor is not serving. I don't know. Maybe when deputy party leader will tell us whether he's contributing. Either or through, or Madam Speaker, or through wisdom.
Senator Charalige, Senator Osotsi would like to inform you. Senator Osotsi.
I want to inform my good friend, neighbor, Senator Cherege, that the contribution of Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, the right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, is immeasurable in financial term, in all manner of contribution, cannot be quantified. It's beyond quantification.
Senator Osotsi, while I do not want to wade into the debate, I am sure Senator Chiradige was talking about the quantifiable contribution, but I will let it rest. He appears happy with your clarification, point of information.
No, Madam Speaker, you have to appreciate Senator Osotsi also needs to be careful with this wording now that is deputy party leader. Madam Speaker, and I agree with him, but is as much, I was talking about quantify, like me, I monthly, you and me pay 50,000 to United Democratic Alliance. There maybe MCS pay 20,000, others pay 10,000. That's what I meant. That is what we need, that accountability. And Madam Speaker, I think the accountability of political parties is very critical. You have been a Secretary General of a political party, the ruling party. You sign checks, you run the accounting of. We need in future. I don't know whether CPIC or which accounts committee. Some of the Secretary General of parties must appear before Parliament and tell us the money we contribute through subscription. What are they using for? Madam Speaker, what are they using for? But Madam Speaker, I hope Senator Kotsosi is taking this note seriously, because we are using public funds. Members contribute. You are also given money by the exchequer. So you need to tell us, how are you using that money in terms of, and I hope, Madam Speaker, you get back as the SG of UDA, because, Madam Speaker, I've seen some people don't understand of being a Secretary General of a ruling party. I know as a level-headed person, as a sober leader, you need to get back to be the SG to fix a few things here and there. But and that is the point. And I'm happy you are excited about it. And God willing, you need to be in that position again, Madam Speaker. So we need accountability. We need the financial statements from this office to be tabled in Parliament, to tell us this exchequer money, this member subscription. We need transparency and accountability from political parties, so that we kill the briefcase parties, so that we don't suffocate political parties who want to grow and expand in our country, Madam Speaker. We must agree that we need, so that we don't reduce, Madam Speaker, some of us who have run in a number of elections through my law lecturer, Professor Tom Agenda, because this was his maiden stab in politics. Some of us ni chuma ya kitambo kidogo. You can see the frustration of the members, Madam Speaker. As you go to a general election, you see people running with any political party. And that is why you see political merchants running around in Parliament and saying, if you don't get this ticket, others are being given through a bedroom, Madam Speaker. Others are given on the streets, Madam Speaker. Others even nominations, Madam Speaker. So we need to create a cleanup in terms of management, Madam Speaker. There is also, I agree, public audited verification, available list of all members of political parties. You remember, Madam Speaker, the chaos we had. And thank you for assisting us in the last, when we were migrating en masse, like the wild beasts that we are crossing from from Tanzania to Kenya. And you had the former president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, saying that the wild beasts from Kenya go to Uganda to get pregnant and come back, Madam Speaker. The way we were migrating, Madam Speaker, you assisted us. We had to sign a lot of letters. We went to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties, Madam Anne Deretu. We deposited. We were now moving from Jubilee to UDA, Madam Speaker. We need a seamless movement, Madam Speaker, and I'm proposing in management of political parties, when you go to the website of this regulation that we are amending, Madam Speaker, of creating the commission of political parties, I can be able to tell political parties members, like you and me of UDA, we need to go to website and know the number of members that are in UDA, which accounts for transparency and accountability. Madam Speaker, even the issue of we wanted to prevent party hopping, but we never succeeded. You remember now there is people losing a nomination of a political party, they party hop to a political party. That party hopping is common, Madam Speaker. And we must, as a country, decide on what we'll do with political party hopping, so that we guard the reason why you are in UDA, why you are in ODM, why in your Maendeleo Chap Chap, why are you in ANC, why are you in Inject, Madam Speaker? So at the end of the day, you must have ideological principle that you follow, and that is point H, Madam Speaker. Even the names, the simple, Madam Speaker, those are issues that you understand. You are a senior lawyer in this republic. The only number 4, Madam Speaker, is as clause number 33B. I will propose that we amend this section. There, they says the commission shall comprise of 5 commissioners appointed by the president with the approval of the National Assembly. Madam Speaker, why are we legislating ourselves out of business? Why are we legislating ourselves out of business? What is this? What is happening? Under Article 93, Madam Speaker, Parliament is both Senate and National Assembly. Madam Speaker, we must amend. Political parties is the business of politicians, and we are in Parliament. You cannot tell me the commissioners who will serve. The National Assembly can go and approve and leave Senate out. Yet we are political animals. Sorry to use that word strictly in its sense. We also be in political parties. Why would we legislate ourselves? Why would we give somebody a different mandate, Madam Speaker? Therefore, I'm proposing that clause number 33B be amended to ensure on the composition. I don't have a problem. I'm happy. They have said 6 years, Madam Speaker. Therefore, it will allow staggering going into the future, Madam Speaker. And then with the Public Service Commission and SRC, I think I agree with Parliamentary Service, Public Service Commission, sorry, it's not Parliamentary Service, Madam Speaker, so that we continue. Madam Speaker, the reading of Article 91, we must agree that we need parties that reflect the face of Kenya. We should kill the tribal political parties, kill regional political parties, Madam Speaker, so that we follow the basic requirements. Madam Speaker, we are one nation, one people, under God, Madam Speaker. You can see, and we need, Madam Speaker, I wanted to make a very critical point. The Constitution recognizes the role of marginalized and minorities. I am yet to see a political party that has in its senior position a minority or a majority, Madam Speaker, as in leadership of political parties. Yet our Constitution had a future. I want to see one day a political party leader of ODM to be a Pokomo. I am one day to be happy to see UDA political party leader to be a Turkana, Madam Speaker, so that we don't bring this tribal dominance and tyranny of the big tribes, the big 5. I can equate it to the wildlife, Madam Speaker. Let us ensure that we inculcate the minority and majority, and even the Gen Z, the youth, the women. I'm happy by the, Madam Speaker, have you noticed in this country, and I saw my sister, the minority leader, Emilio Diambo, launching her book the other day, and a number of you women leaders. The only thing about gender, Madam Speaker, I have seen, and I don't know whether it is good for the country, that the issue of any representation, both appointive and elective, they are discussing about women only. I have not heard somebody talking about the youth. Some of us who are young people, we had to fight through to be where we are today. We need support system, our young people. People living with disability, we need them on the table, Madam Speaker. People, women, I'm happy women are receiving a lot of attention, but where will youth go? I'm happy youth, out of their own energy and zeal, they have come up strongly. What about the people living with disability? What will we do them? What about the minorities, the ingems, the marginalized, Madam Speaker? We must, as a political parties, be deliberate. And that is why even we had proposed, even in there was a proposal that one side, Madam Speaker, we ring fence or we create protected constituencies for only women so that we give them chances of winning seats. While I agree that could work, but how long will it work? Like the women representative seat, Madam Speaker, as a sunset clause. You and me know that. But what we did do to ensure more women are in leadership and elective and appointive, Madam Speaker, even in cabinet, even in presidency, Madam Speaker, even in Senate, Madam Speaker, we are happy that even going into the future, we must have either a speaker or a deputy speaker who is a woman, Madam Speaker, of substance to sit on the seat, because we don't see you through the lenses of gender. So I'm happy, but I want to ask women leaders the way they were championing for women. There are many minorities, marginalized youth, and PWDs in future, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, on the legislation of political parties, I agree that there should be regulation, there should be functions, there should be supervision, Madam Speaker, and management of political parties, accounting restriction. Madam Speaker, I think finally I'll conclude this. If you can just, I can say I still have a few minutes. On use of public resources. I know, Madam Speaker, there are many by-elections coming up, and I hope, and I want to ask colleagues, some of us are political party leaders here, to fast-track the issue of appointment of substantive IEBC commissioners, so that places like Banisa, Madam Speaker, other places like wards that we don't have MCS, can have opportunity to elect MCS and members of parliament, Madam Speaker. I appeal that as a nation, it is the right time to put IEBC in place so that by-elections can happen. But I want to also appeal, Madam Speaker, in conclusion, that we also become hard against using of public resources, both at the county and at national level, so that we protect the integrity of our offices, Madam Speaker. So that when we are elected, we are not elected to represent the interests of individuals or organizations or entities. Madam Speaker, you are aware in some countries, corporations are so powerful that they even sponsor, can I just 30 seconds, Madam Speaker?
It's 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. 30 seconds, some corporations even sponsor candidates because of their own interest. Even in counties, there are business people who sponsor. So how do we protect public resources that shall be ensured that we don't abuse? It is through establishment and replacement by having a commission that will ensure political parties are managed within the Republic of Kenya. With those very many remarks, Madam Speaker, and your indulgence, I beg to support this amendment or that of the political parties amendment number 2, Bill 2024, with amendments specifically to clause 33B, Madam Speaker, and I thank you, and I hope to see you becoming the SG of our party, because we need you there so that some things can start working. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, Senator Cherarige, and always for the support.
Yes.
Senator Osotsi Godfrey Atieno.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and all the members who have contributed to this very important bill. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, this bill is one of the bills that emanated from the NADICO report that was a product of bipartisan negotiation between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio. This is the right step, Madam Speaker, and I hope all the other bills which are pending before this House are also fast-tracked, so that, Madam Speaker, we avoid the mischief that is beginning to show itself out, where people are now coming up with amendments, even to the Constitution, proposed amendment to the Constitution on matters which are already included in the NADICO report. I know Senator Cherarige has just left the chamber, but I want to tell him that the proposed amendments he's bringing to the Constitution are some of the issues have been processed in the NADICO report. And I think it's important for him to consult more and wait for the full implementation of the NADICO report, rather than jumping the gun, as we have seen in his amendments. Madam Speaker, this bill, the political parties bill, amendment bill number 2 of 2024, seeks to do one thing: to entrench the Independent Political Party Regulatory Commission in the Political Parties Act. I find this to be very progressive, Madam Speaker, because the current arrangement where we have the registrar of political parties, where we have a registrar who is there, who is supposed to make decisions, but most of the time, Madam Speaker, the registrar is not independent at all. She is not independent at all. And I want to say this without fear of any contradiction, that I have been a victim of that office, Madam Speaker. You know, you have been the SG of Jubilee, that the decisions that are made by that registrar of political parties are politically motivated. We cannot have a scenario where we have one individual who is there as a registrar, but that individual in most cases does not follow the law. He follows the political dictates of the day, and also the directions is given. Madam Speaker, in the last parliament, I served as a nominated member of parliament and the SG of ANC party. But when I started having trouble with the ANC party for my stand on issues, I was taken through a very rigorous, very sad, very straining process of having to go to the court 7 times. 7 times, largely because the registrar of political parties was not following the law. He was following the political direction was given. But luckily, Madam Speaker, in all those 7 cases, I won. And I'm happy now because of my need to survive then. I have now been cited as a very important jurisprudence on matters of political parties in this country. And even Professor Ujenda is a beneficiary of that, and many others. So that it is good that we are now having a commission of 5 people. So it is not going to be a decision of one woman or one man making a decision on who to expel, which party to register, or what form of punishment to give to a member. It is now going to be a panel of 5 people, and that panel is going to compose of 2 members from the ruling party, the majority party, and 2 members from the minority party or the opposition party, in other words, and 1 member from the what we call the non-parliamentary parties, in other words, those small political parties. So this is progressive. And I think a lot of things which have been going wrong, Madam Speaker, are going to be sorted out through these very, very important amendments. Madam Speaker, my colleagues have talked about political parties. Registration of political parties is going to be one of the functions of this commission. And Madam Speaker, I am talking as a proud deputy party leader of ODM. That last week, I saw a report that was saying that the only political party that is fully compliant to the Political Parties Act is the Orange Democratic Movement. The other parties, including the party where Cheregei belongs to, they are all non-compliant. And if registrar of political parties was serious, those are parties that should be registered so that we only remain with one political party in this country, called the Orange Democratic Party. And I want to, he was talking about foreign names like CCM, ANC of South Africa. But in Kenya here, I want to tell you that if there is a party that has elaborate structures that other parties can copy from, is the Orange Democratic Movement. You go to every village, we have a committee of ODM. Even in the most politically hostile areas, you will find someone wearing an orange cap and saying, I'm a member of ODM. How I wish that all the other political parties were like ODM. They need to come and learn from us. We have very good examples on how to run a political party. So I hope that the commission will start by auditing the political parties that we have in this country, because we have in excess of 70 political parties. Some of them are not even existing anywhere. I even saw the inspectors from the office of the registrar of political parties. You know, before they register a political party, they must ascertain that the political party has an office in a particular county. I saw someone had put a branding for a political party in a butchery, a functional butchery, and that butchery was cleared as an office of a political party. So we hope that this new commission is not going to acquire the bad manners of the current office of the registrar of political parties, where they are clearing briefcase parties which have no offices, which have no members, and they end up now, they are registered as political parties. We want proper functional political parties with offices in at least 24 counties of this country. The issue of membership, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, membership data at the office of the registrar of political parties. I don't even think that that data is reliable anymore. If you go there, you may even find that you belong to 5 political parties. You may find that you are an elected member, but the records are showing you belong to another party. How did it happen, Madam Speaker? So one of the things they need to audit when they assume office, this commission, is to have a look at the membership data for political parties in this country, harmonize it, so that so that we have a member or a person belonging to one political parties at a time. Madam Speaker, the issue of political parties fund. The political parties fund was a good idea, Madam Speaker. But I think Treasury is violating the law, Madam Speaker, because the law is very clear. The Political Parties Act is very clear that a certain percentage of the national revenue should go to political parties. Right now, the Treasury or the Kenyan government owes the Orange Democratic Party 11 billion shillings. And I hope maybe Jubilee, because you are still new, maybe is in the range of 5 billion shillings. This is a lot of money, Mr. Speaker, which if it went to these parties, it will make them even more stronger. I want to disagree with those who say that all political parties in Kenya should be funded. I can only agree to that analogy, Madam Speaker, if those parties are properly regulated. If you have offices in 24 counties, functional offices, if you have membership register, if you are complying with the Political Parties Act, and if you have your members elected in positions, then you can qualify. But we cannot say all political parties, including briefcase parties, to get money from the political parties fund. So this fund must also be looked at so that only deserving political parties must get funding, and this funding must be properly audited.
Just hold on, Senator Osotsi. Professor Ojienda Odhiambo Tom, what is your intervention? What's your point of order?
Madam Speaker, under Order 41, Standing Order 41, I note that there's no quorum and that perhaps it is time that the House should adjourn so that the debate on this issue can be continued. Senator Osoti can have time to continue. I mean, he has very good ideas, and I think especially is sharing that ODM is the only compliant party. This is a submission, Madam Speaker, that should be made when we have more of our brothers in the House, because I know he's a party leader, and I know that the other party leaders from other regions of the country, so that General Cherargei can listen to him. I believe, Madam Speaker, this is the time when we should adjourn so that we come back at a time when Senator Soti can continue his submissions that are very erudite and on point, refreshing, and he comes to the party with the strength of a real party leader. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Professor Tom. Clerk, can you confirm whether we have quorum? There is no quorum. I would request the Sergeant at Arms to ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes. Having failed to attain quorum at the expiry of 10 minutes, the Senate stands adjourned pursuant to Standing Order 41-2A until Tuesday, 8th October 2024 at 2:30. Senator Sotsi will have a balance of 10 minutes.
Social Health Authority and the Social Health Insurance Fund. Because in just how many days now? 4 days to go for the rollout of that, beginning the 1st of October 2024. And my word, what a journey it has been for this transition from NHIF to SHIF, what with court cases and public participation, the rush to make sure that they regularize those matters that were raised by the court. And now here we are. But still, even with this entire journey, not smooth. We will get to some of those. I actually want to see if we can listen to